Hey there, YouTube. I'm Forrest Lauderdale Skeptic. If you like the content I'm putting out here, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel. Besides that, enjoy the clip.
Watch how your actions unfold, so it's entirely unfalsifiable. The question, because of that thought, is what's the most pragmatic way to live your life? Like, is it helpful for you to believe in God? If the answer is yes, then you should believe in God. Is it helpful for you to believe that you have free will? If it's helpful for you, then I think that you should believe that. But
But so this
you
is
can
where the
decide
whole
if
you
it's
can't
helpful.
choose your beliefs. Like what you were just saying is almost, it doesn't make sense in the way I see belief. Maybe you could
Okay,
say,
so
does it make sense to believe in God? If or what'd you say? Is it beneficial to believe in God? Then you should believe in God. You may be able to say, is it beneficial to believe in God? If so, you should act like you believe in God.
yeah, sure. I don't have an issue with that, because I do think that you can look at yourself and you can live your life one way. Let's say the first way is that you believe in God. You can live yourself a different way. You can do a science experiment. You can say, I have a hypothesis that if I stop acting like I believe in God, if I stop making myself feel guilty when I do things that I think God is telling me to do, maybe my life will be more guilt free. Maybe I'll suffer less. You know what I mean? You can run this experiment and see what happens. And if you enjoy the way that it feels, if you feel on a subjective level that your suffering goes down, then you can say, okay, I'm going to let go of this. You know what I mean? And maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe I need to go back and maybe be a little more clear with what I was saying earlier. But if your belief is like, your beliefs are so core, and I think that you really can't change them. But the way that you act and the way that you give yourself leeway and the way that you forgive yourself for breaking certain rules that earlier you thought were rules and now you don't think are rules, I think that's malleable to a degree, but I don't think that's the same thing as a belief. That's probably why whenever Jordan Peterson gets asked if he believes in God, he always says, I act like I believe in God. Because yeah, I don't think that you can. I mean, he probably doesn't think there's a human shaped thing that lives in outer space that started everything and is in charge of everything. But he probably thinks that personifying the well being of society is a good enough God, and he'll live as if that's God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, I have no problem with someone that says, I don't believe in Christianity, but if you act in accordance with the principles of Christianity, then your life is way better.
Yeah.
I just say that's okay, cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's act that way.
Yeah.
The problem is when there's someone like Jordan Peterson where he starts to like get confusing on, like he
Yeah.
basically says like you can see what someone believes based on their actions, and I just think that's total garbage. And
Yeah.
I think we could prove it's garbage right now. Like, could you act like there's a boogie monster in your closet right now? It's like, yeah, you could act like it.
Yeah. I mean, I
100
would run
100%.
away from my closet.
Yeah, in your
And that's
mind,
the,
you know it's
yeah.
fake. You
Yeah.
don't believe it. I don't
Yeah.
think
It's
that.
almost like, yeah. Yeah.
So I've never bought
Yeah.
into that argument, but I like the idea of like, and this is where it actually works really great in like a atheistic worldview is if you can make an argument for why acting like a Christian makes your life better, then that can transfer to all atheists. You can say, hey, all
Yeah.
atheists, you don't need to believe in this stuff, but if you act in these ways, then suffering will go down. There's nothing in atheism that says you can't believe that.
Yeah.
And
And that's kind of, sorry, go
yeah,
ahead. Go
and that
ahead.
only works for the actions themselves. It doesn't work for the justification of the actions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that kind of addresses, I think this is one of the areas that Mormonism gets it right, is there's this idea in kind of mainstream Christianity that essentially, like, all you have to do is accept Jesus into your heart. And that's so vague. Like, sometimes I wonder, okay, could I just, like, in my head say, like, I accept you, man? I don't think that he was who he said he was. Like, I don't think any of that. But if I just like kind of accept him in my head, does that count? And I like how Mormonism turns it into you have to act, you have to do certain things to prove that. I think that they get a little too legalistic in the whole like you have to be baptized in this way. These words have to be said. The sacrament prayer is like everything has to be verbatim. It all comes down to I think they get too legalistic, but I think their head is in the right place where it's like you actually have to do something more than just do this vague thing in your head in order to be saved.
I actually disagree a little bit. I do think that, and it goes back to what I was just saying. Like, it's totally possible to believe in Jesus and act like a total shithead. Like,
Yeah.
and especially with the assumption beforehand of we are fallen people that are sinners. Like this idea that in order to prove that you're following Jesus, that you have to act like Jesus. It's like the whole point is that we are not Jesus and we're never going to live that standard. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Mormon idea of like, hey, if you're a real believer, you should probably not be, it's like that question, like if Hitler was on his deathbed and he just said, I accept Jesus, like, is he going to heaven?
Yeah.
Like there's a problem there. But
Yeah.
I
No,
also
there's
think that
definitely a
like
problem there.
the other end of the spectrum is in order to truly believe in Jesus, your actions need to prove it. And your actions would therefore have to be the actions of Jesus, which all Christian religions accept is impossible. That's all I've got. I'll be releasing the full interview soon. I'm Forrest Latter-day Skeptic, and thank you for watching.